The perfect life that never was. Maya-chan stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows of her penthouse apartment, looking out at the city lights below. At 32 years old, she had everything she had ever dreamed of. A successful career as an architect at one of the city's top firms. A handsome husband who was a respected lawyer. A beautiful home in the heart of the city. Life was perfect, or so she thought. She touched the gold necklace around her neck. A 5th anniversary gift from her husband Daniel. The diamond pendant caught the light as she smiled, thinking about how lucky she was. Tomorrow, she would present her biggest project yet. The new Heart Foundation building, named after Daniel's wealthy family. It was her masterpiece. A design that would put her name on the map as one of the country's best architects. Maya had spent 2 years working on this project. Every detail was perfect. Every line, every angle, every space was carefully planned. She had poured her heart and soul into this building. It wasn't just a project. It was her dream coming true. ####, the business trip that changed everything. Maya was supposed to be in Singapore for a week-long conference. She had presentations to give and meetings with international clients. But on the second day, the conference was canceled due to a sudden storm. The organizers sent everyone home early. She didn't tell Daniel she was coming back early. She wanted to surprise him. Maybe they could have a romantic dinner together. Maybe they could spend some quiet time alone. They had both been so busy lately, working long hours and barely seeing each other. As her taxi pulled up to their building, Maya felt excited. She paid the driver and took the elevator up to the 15th floor. She used her key to open the door quietly, planning to surprise Daniel with his favorite takeout food. But Maya was the one who got surprised. ###, the moment everything shattered. The apartment was dim, lit only by candles in the living room. Soft music was playing. For a second, Maya thought Daniel had planned something romantic. Her heart warmed at the thought. But then she heard laughter. Female laughter. Laughter she knew too well. Maya's blood turned cold. She walked toward the bedroom, her hands shaking. The door was slightly open. Through the gap she could see 2 people on the bed. Her bed. Her husband Daniel, and her younger sister Lily. Time seemed to stop. Maya's bag fell from her hand and hit the floor with a loud thud. The 2 people on the bed jumped apart. Daniel turned around, his eyes going wide. But he didn't look guilty. He didn't look sorry. He looked annoyed that she was there. "Maya," he said, pulling on his shirt. "You're back early." That was all he said. No apology. No explanation. Just a simple statement of fact. Lily sat up, pulling the sheets around herself. She didn't look ashamed either. Instead, she looked almost defiant, like she had been caught doing something she didn't care about hiding anymore. "How long?" Maya whispered, her voice barely working. "How long has this been going on?" Daniel stood up and walked toward her. He was calm, too calm. 2 years, he said simply. "We've been together for 2 years." Maya felt like the floor had disappeared beneath her feet. 2 years. That meant this had started right after she began working on the Heart Foundation building. While she was working late nights and weekends on her dream project, her husband and her sister were betraying her. ###, the cold truth. "I want a divorce," Daniel said, his voice businesslike, as if he was discussing a legal case. "Lily and I are in love. We want to get married." Maya looked at her sister. Lily was 26, 6 years younger than Maya. Growing up, Maya had always protected her, helped her, supported her. When Lily needed money for college, Maya had helped. When Lily needed a place to stay, Maya had welcomed her into this very apartment. "Lily," Maya said, her voice breaking. "How could you?" Lily finally showed some emotion. She looked down at the sheets. "I'm sorry," she whispered. But the words sounded empty. "It just happened." "It didn't just happen," Maya shouted, her anger finally breaking through the shock. "For 2 years. In my home. In my bed." Daniel held up his hand. "Don't make a scene, Maya. We're all adults here. These things happen. People fall out of love. People fall in love with someone new. It's not personal." Not personal. Maya wanted to scream. How could the destruction of her marriage, her family, her trust not be personal? ###, the deeper wounds. Over the next few days, Maya discovered that the betrayal went much deeper than she could have imagined. While going through their financial records to prepare for the divorce, she found something shocking. Money was missing from their joint accounts. A lot of money. She called their bank and discovered that Daniel had been slowly transferring money into a separate account for the past year. He had taken nearly $200,000. Money she had earned. Money she had saved. But it got worse. Much worse. Maya went to her office to clear her head and focus on work. Her assistant Tom looked worried when she arrived. "Maya, we need to talk," he said quietly. In his office, Tom showed her something that made her stomach drop. Someone had leaked her designs for the Hart Foundation building. Her original plans were now being used by another firm, a competitor. They claimed the designs were theirs. "How is this possible?" Maya asked, her hands shaking as she looked at the stolen plans on Tom's computer screen. "I did some digging," Tom said carefully. "The leak came from your home computer. Someone sent these files from your personal email account 3 months ago." Maya knew immediately who it was. Daniel. He had access to her computer. He knew all her passwords. He had stolen her work and sold it to a rival firm. ####the professional destruction. The next week was a nightmare. Maya's firm called her into a meeting. Her boss, Mr. Richardson, sat behind his desk with a cold expression. "Maya, we've been hearing some concerning things," he said. "There are rumors that you've been unstable, that you've been having emotional problems, that you leaked your own designs to create drama and attention." "That's not true," Maya protested. "Someone stole my work. It was Daniel, my husband. I can prove it." But she couldn't prove it. Daniel had been too careful. He had covered his tracks well. And worse, he had been spreading rumors about Maya to her colleagues. He told them she was jealous of his success, that she was having a mental breakdown, that she was becoming dangerous and unpredictable. Mr. Richardson looked uncomfortable. "I'm sorry, Maya, but we have to let you go. This kind of controversy is bad for the firm. We can't be associated with this mess." Just like that, Maya lost her job. The career she had built for 10 years was destroyed in a single conversation. #### the family betrayal. Maya thought surely her parents would support her. They would see the truth. They would stand by her side. She drove to her childhood home, desperate for comfort and understanding. Her mother opened the door. She looked tired and sad. "Maya, honey, come in." Inside, her father sat in his usual chair. Lily was there too, sitting on the couch with red eyes, as if she had been crying. "Mom, Dad, you have to listen to me," Maya began. "Daniel and Lily have been lying to you. They've been having an affair for 2 years. He stole my money. He destroyed my career. He—" "That's enough, Maya," her father interrupted. His voice was stern. "We know what happened. Lily told us everything." Maya felt hope rise in her chest. "Then you understand. We understand that you've been working too much," her mother said gently. "That you've been neglecting your marriage. That you drove Daniel away." Maya couldn't believe what she was hearing. "What?" Lily spoke up, her voice small and shaky. "I never meant for this to happen, Maya. But you were never home. Daniel was lonely. We just connected. I'm not proud of it, but we fell in love." "She's pregnant," her father added quietly. The room spun around Maya. "Pregnant?" Lily was pregnant with Daniel's child. "You need to let them be happy," her mother said. "You need to move on. Find someone new. Let go of this anger." Maya looked at her parents, at her sister, at the family she thought she knew. They had already chosen sides. And they hadn't chosen her. "You're taking her side?" Maya whispered. "After everything she did?" "We're not taking sides," her father said. "We're being realistic. Daniel has moved on. You should too. Lily is your sister. She needs our support now. She's going to have a baby." Maya stood up. She felt numb. Empty. "I see," she said quietly. "I understand now." She walked to the door. Her mother called after her. "Maya, don't be dramatic. You'll feel better in a few weeks. Come back when you're ready to be reasonable." But Maya knew she would never come back to this house. These people who claimed to love her had abandoned her when she needed them most. Rock bottom. 6 months passed. Maya moved into a small studio apartment in a less expensive part of the city. It was all she could afford now. Her savings were gone, taken by Daniel in the divorce. The prenuptial agreement he had convinced her to sign years ago protected all his assets and gave her almost nothing. She couldn't find work as an architect. The rumors had spread throughout the industry. No firm would hire her. She was labeled as unstable, as a thief, as someone who couldn't be trusted. Maya took a job as a waitress at a small cafe just to pay rent and buy food. Every day felt like torture. She served coffee and sandwiches to people who used to be her colleagues. They looked at her with pity or disgust or both. She had lost everything. Her marriage, her career, her family, her reputation, her dreams. She was 32 years old and starting from nothing. Worse than nothing. She was starting from the bottom with the whole world thinking she was a failure. Some nights, Maya would lie in bed and wonder if it was worth continuing. The pain was too much. The loss was too great. How could she ever recover from this? How could she ever trust anyone again? How could she ever rebuild her life? #the unexpected encounter. One rainy afternoon, Maya was walking home from her shift at the cafe. She was exhausted, wet, and miserable. As she passed a construction site, she stopped to look at the building being constructed. It was beautiful with clean modern lines and innovative design. It's impressive, isn't it? Maya turned to find a tall man standing beside her. He was in his late 30s, wearing an expensive suit and holding an umbrella. He had kind eyes and a calm presence. "Yes," Maya said quietly. "Whoever designed it has real talent." "You would know," the man said. "You're Maya-chan." Maya's heart sank. Here it comes, she thought. Another person who knows about my scandal. Another person who thinks I'm a fraud. But the man smiled warmly. "I'm James Morrison," he said, extending his hand. "I've been looking for you." Maya didn't take his hand. "If you're here to make fun of me or tell me what a terrible person I am, save your breath. I've heard it all before." "I'm here to offer you a job," James said simply. Maya stared at him. "What?" "I own Morrison Tech," James explained. "We're a new company, but we're growing fast. We specialize in innovative architecture and sustainable building design. I followed your work for years, Miss Chan. Your designs are brilliant. I want you to work for me." "You know about the rumors," Maya said carefully. "You know what people say about me." "I know the truth," James said. "I know Daniel Hart stole your designs and destroyed your reputation to cover his own crimes. I know he's a corrupt lawyer who has been stealing from his family's foundation for years. And I know you're the best architect in this city, maybe in this country." Maya's eyes filled with tears. Someone believed her. Someone knew the truth. "Why?" she whispered. "Why would you help me?" James's expression darkened. "Because Daniel Hart destroyed my father's business 10 years ago. My father was a good man who built a small construction company from nothing. Daniel represented a corporate client who wanted to buy my father's land. When my father refused to sell, Daniel fabricated legal problems. He created fake debts. He spread lies. Within a year, my father's company was bankrupt. 6 months later, my father died from a heart attack. The stress killed him." James looked at Maya with understanding in his eyes. "Daniel Hart destroys people. It's what he does. But he's never faced consequences for it. I want to change that. And I think you do too." Maya felt something stir inside her. Something she hadn't felt in 6 months. "Hope. What kind of job?" she asked. "Lead architect at Morrison Tech," James said. "Full creative control. Competitive salary. And a chance to show the world what you're really capable of." Maya looked at this stranger who somehow knew her pain, who believed in her talent, who was offering her a lifeline when she was drowning. She took his hand. "When do I start?" "Tomorrow," James said with a smile. "If you're ready." For the first time in 6 months, Maya smiled back. "I'm ready." As she walked away from James Morrison that day, Maya felt something shift inside her. The pain was still there. The betrayal still hurt. But now there was something else. A spark of determination. A flicker of strength. She had been broken. She had been destroyed. She had been left for dead. But she was still standing. And now she had a chance to rise again. Maya didn't know it yet, but this was the beginning of something powerful. Not just a comeback but a transformation. Not just revenge but redemption. The old Maya was gone, destroyed by the people she had trusted most. But a new Maya was being born. Stronger, wiser, unbreakable. And she was just getting started. A new beginning. Maya's first day at Morrison Tech felt surreal. The office was located in a modern glass building on the edge of the city. It was smaller than her old firm, but everything was new, clean, and filled with cutting-edge technology. James Morrison personally gave her a tour. The architectural department took up the entire third floor. There were 20 designers working on various projects, all young and enthusiastic. When James introduced Maya as the new lead architect, some of them recognized her name and looked surprised. "I know some of you may have heard things about Miss Chun," James said calmly to the team. "Let me be clear. Those were lies spread by people who wanted to steal her work. Maya is one of the most talented architects in the country, and we're lucky to have her here. Anyone who has a problem with that can leave now." No one moved. In fact, several people smiled and welcomed Maya warmly. Her office was spacious with large windows overlooking the city. On her desk was a brand new computer, a tablet for digital design, and a welcome package with company information. There was also a handwritten note from James. "Welcome to your second chance. Make it count." Maya sat in her new chair and took a deep breath. 6 months ago, she had been ready to give up. Now she had an opportunity to start fresh. She wasn't going to waste it. ####, learning the truth about James. Over the next few weeks, Maya threw herself into work. She arrived early and stayed late. She worked on multiple projects, each one showcasing her innovative design style. James gave her complete creative freedom, and she used it to create buildings that were not just functional but beautiful and environmentally sustainable. One evening, Maya was working late when James came into her office with 2 cups of coffee. "You're going to burn out if you keep working these hours," he said with a slight smile. "Says the man who's here at 9 p.m., Maya replied, accepting the coffee gratefully. James sat down across from her. "Fair point." He paused, then added, "You're doing excellent work, Maya. The team loves your designs." "Thank you for giving me this chance," Maya said sincerely. "I don't know why you believed in me when no one else did, but I'm grateful." James was quiet for a moment. "I told you about my father," he finally said. "But I didn't tell you everything." Maya listened as James shared his story. After his father's death, James had been only 25 years old. He had nothing except anger and a determination to succeed. He worked multiple jobs, saved every penny, and eventually started a small tech company in his garage. 10 years later, Morrison Tech was worth over $500 million. James had built an empire from nothing. But his success wasn't just about money. It was about proving that people like Daniel Hart couldn't win forever. "I've been investigating Daniel for years," James admitted. "Not just for what he did to my father, but for all the other people he's destroyed. There are dozens of victims. Small business owners, ordinary people who couldn't fight back against his lawyers and his family's money." "Why are you telling me this?" Maya asked. "Because I want to take him down," James said bluntly. "But I can't do it alone. I need someone who knows him. Someone who has been inside his life. Someone who has a reason to want justice as much as I do." Maya's heart started beating faster. "What are you proposing?" "A partnership," James said. "We work together to expose Daniel's crimes. Not just the affair or stealing your designs. I'm talking about financial fraud, corruption, using his family's foundation to launder money. Real crimes with real consequences." Maya thought about everything she had lost. The pain of the last 6 months. The betrayal. The humiliation. Part of her wanted to say yes immediately, but another part was hesitant. "This isn't just about revenge, is it?" she asked carefully. "No," James said firmly. "This is about justice. Daniel has been breaking the law for years and getting away with it because his family is powerful. But I've been collecting evidence. I just need a few more pieces to make the case airtight. With your insider knowledge, we can do this the right way, through the legal system. Through the media. Through exposure. Maya looked at James. She saw no hatred in his eyes, only determination and a sense of purpose. This wasn't about destroying Daniel out of spite. This was about holding him accountable for real crimes. What do you need from me? Maya asked. James smiled. First, we need you to become successful again. We need you to be so successful that everyone remembers what Daniel stole from you. Then, when the truth comes out, there won't be any doubt about who the real talent was. #### the transformation. Over the next 6 months, Maya underwent a complete transformation. James arranged for her to work with a professional stylist who helped her update her wardrobe. Not because there was anything wrong with how she looked, but because confidence often starts with feeling good about yourself. She also started therapy. James had a therapist on staff for all employees, and Maya began attending weekly sessions. It was hard at first, talking about the betrayal and the pain. But slowly, she began to heal. She learned that what happened to her wasn't her fault. That being betrayed didn't make her weak or stupid. It made her human. Maya also started taking care of herself physically. She joined a gym at the company building and started working out in the mornings. Exercise helped clear her mind and gave her energy. She ate better, slept better, and gradually felt stronger both mentally and physically. But the biggest transformation was in her work. Maya's designs started winning attention. Morrison Tech entered her work into international competitions, and she won 3 major awards in 4 months. Her name was back in the news, but this time for the right reasons. Architecture magazines featured her projects. Industry blogs praised her innovative approach. She was invited to speak at conferences and universities. Slowly but surely, Maya Chen was becoming known as one of the rising stars of modern architecture. #### the growing connection. As Maya and James worked together, they grew closer. They spent long hours in the office, discussing projects, sharing ideas, and planning their strategy against Daniel. But they also talked about other things. Their families. Their dreams. Their fears. James told Maya about his childhood, growing up poor but happy. He talked about watching his father work hard to build something from nothing, only to have it destroyed by greed and corruption. He spoke about his mother, who had passed away just 2 years ago, never seeing him achieve the success that came too late to save his father's legacy. Maya shared her own pain. The feeling of betrayal not just by Daniel, but by her entire family. The loneliness of losing everyone she thought she could trust. The fear that she would never be able to trust anyone again. "You're trusting me," James pointed out one evening as they worked late. Maya paused. He was right. Somewhere along the way, without even realizing it, she had started trusting James. He had never let her down. He had never betrayed her confidence. He had been exactly what he promised to be. A partner and a friend. "I guess I am," Maya said with a small smile. There were moments when Maya felt something more than friendship developing. The way James looked at her sometimes, with warmth and admiration. The way her heart skipped when he smiled. The comfortable silence they could share. But neither of them acted on it. Maya was still healing from her divorce. James seemed to respect that she needed time and space. And both of them were focused on their mission. Bringing Daniel Hart to justice. #### the first victory. The breakthrough came when Maya's latest design won the International Architecture Innovation Award. It was one of the most prestigious awards in the industry, chosen by a panel of renowned architects from around the world. The project was a sustainable community center that combined green technology with beautiful, accessible design. It was everything Maya believed architecture should be: functional, beautiful, and serving the community. The award ceremony was held in New York City. Maya wore an elegant navy dress and stood on stage as they announced her name as the winner. As she accepted the award, she looked out at the audience of hundreds of industry professionals and media representatives. "Thank you for this honor," Maya said into the microphone, her voice steady and strong. "This award represents not just one project, but a journey. A year ago, I had lost everything. My career was destroyed by lies and betrayal. But I didn't give up. I want to thank James Morrison and everyone at Morrison Tech for believing in me when no one else did. This award is proof that talent and truth always rise to the surface, no matter how many people try to bury it. The audience applauded. But Maya knew who would be watching this. Daniel. Her family. Everyone who had doubted her. The next morning, Maya's phone was flooded with messages. Industry colleagues who had ignored her for months were suddenly reaching out to congratulate her. Former friends who had believed the rumors were apologizing. Job offers came from 3 major firms. But the most interesting messages came from people she hadn't expected. Her mother texted, "Congratulations, honey. We're proud of you. Can we talk?" Maya deleted the message without responding. Daniel sent an email. "Congrats on the award. You deserve it. I always knew you were talented. Maybe we can have coffee sometime and catch up." Maya felt a cold anger rise in her chest. He was acting like nothing had happened. Like he hadn't destroyed her life. She forwarded the email to James without responding. "He's nervous," James said when he saw it. "Your success threatens him. He's trying to make peace before we go public with what we know." "How much longer?" Maya asked. She was ready now. Ready to face Daniel and expose the truth. "Soon," James promised. "We're almost there." Gathering the evidence. James had been building a case against Daniel for years, but they needed specific evidence about the Heart Foundation fraud. The foundation was supposedly a charity that helped underprivileged children get access to education. But James suspected it was actually a way for Daniel and his family to avoid taxes and launder money from questionable sources. The problem was getting proof. The foundation's financial records were private, and Daniel had powerful lawyers protecting every aspect of the organization. Maya had an idea. "I designed the Heart Foundation building," she said. "I know the layout. I know where Daniel's office is, where they keep records. What if I could get inside?" "Too risky," James said immediately. "Daniel would recognize you." "Not as a visitor," Maya clarified. "But there's a gala next month. A fundraising event for the foundation. If I bought a ticket and went with someone, I could look around. Maybe access some areas that guests wouldn't normally see." James was quiet, considering the plan. "It could work," he admitted. "But you wouldn't go alone. I would go with you." Over the next few weeks, they prepared carefully. James bought 2 tickets to the gala under a false company name. Maya practiced staying calm and confident. They studied the building plans and identified their targets. Daniel's office computer and the foundation's file room. The night of the gala arrived. Maya wore a stunning red dress and had her hair styled differently than she used to wear it. She looked elegant and sophisticated, almost unrecognizable from the broken woman she had been a year ago. James wore a classic black tuxedo. When he saw Maya, his eyes widened with admiration. "You look beautiful," he said quietly. "Thank you," Maya replied, feeling her cheeks warm. "You clean up pretty well yourself." As they drove to the gala, Maya felt nervous but also excited. This was it. The beginning of the end. Soon, everyone would know the truth about Daniel Hart. Inside the Lion's Den. The Hart Foundation building was exactly as Maya had designed it. Modern, impressive, and filled with light. As she walked inside with James, she felt a strange mixture of pride and anger. This should have been her greatest triumph. Instead, it had become a symbol of everything Daniel had stolen from her. The gala was crowded with wealthy donors and important people. Maya and James blended in easily, accepting champagne and making small talk with strangers. Maya kept her head down, avoiding anyone who might recognize her. Then she saw him. Daniel stood near the center of the room, looking handsome and confident in his tuxedo. He was laughing with a group of older men, probably donors. Beside him stood Lily, her baby bump barely visible under an elegant maternity dress. Maya's hands clenched around her champagne glass. James touched her elbow gently. "Are you okay?" he whispered. "I'm fine," Maya said, surprised to find it was true. Seeing Daniel and Lily didn't hurt as much as she thought it would. They looked fake, playing roles for the crowd. She felt nothing but contempt. While James created a distraction by asking detailed questions to foundation staff, Maya slipped away. She knew the building's layout perfectly. She made her way to the executive floor, using the back staircase that guests wouldn't normally access. Daniel's office was locked, but Maya had anticipated this. She used a technique James had taught her, a small device that could bypass electronic locks. Within seconds, she was inside. The office was exactly what she expected. Expensive, tasteless, and designed to impress rather than function. Maya went straight to Daniel's computer. She plugged in a small USB drive that would copy his hard drive while she searched the physical files. In the filing cabinet, she found what they needed. Financial records that showed money being moved from the foundation into private accounts. Fake invoices for services never rendered. Payments to shell companies. It was all there, evidence of years of fraud. Maya photographed every document with her phone. Her hands were steady, her mind focused. This was bigger than revenge. This was justice. Just as she finished, she heard voices in the hallway. Daniel was coming back to his office, talking with someone. Maya's heart raced. She grabbed the USB drive, pocketed it, and looked for a way out. The office had a door leading to a private bathroom, which connected to another hallway. Maya slipped through quietly, just as Daniel opened the main office door. She made it back to the gala without being seen. James found her immediately, concern in his eyes. "Did you get it?" Maya nodded, patting her purse where the USB drive was hidden. "Everything we need." They left the gala early, both of them silent with the weight of what they had just done. In the car, James finally spoke. "You were incredible in there. Calm, professional, perfect." "I had a good teacher," Maya said with a smile. Back at James's office, they transferred the files and began reviewing everything. It was worse than they had thought. Daniel hadn't just been stealing from the foundation. He had been taking money from actual charity funds meant for children. He had created fake programs and pocketed the donations. Over 5 years, he had stolen almost $3 million. "This is enough," James said, his voice hard with anger. "We can go to the police, the FBI, the media. This ends now." But Maya shook her head. "Not yet. We need one more thing." "What?" "A confession," Maya said. "Everything we have is circumstantial. A good lawyer could argue it away. But if we can get Daniel to confess, to admit what he's done, then there's no escape." James looked at her with respect. "How do you propose we do that?" Maya smiled. It wasn't a kind smile. "By giving him exactly what he wants. A meeting with me." #### the confrontation setup. Maya sent Daniel an email from a new account. "We need to talk. About the past. About the truth. About making things right. Meet me tomorrow noon at the coffee shop on 5th and Main. Come alone." Daniel responded within an hour. "I'll be there."